Hmm. Oh, didn't see you there. Sorry. What's up, bitch? How are you guys? My name is Indy. Welcome to my channel. If you are in the right place, this channel is called INDIpendent. Right? Did I change? I don't know. But you know what my channel is called because you're seeing this face. Hi. And we're gonna be talking about something that not a lot of people like to talk about. We're talking about vaginas, everyone. Yeah, vaginas. Just a little background on me. My name is Indy. I'm from New York. Hey. I go to American University in Washington, D.C. I'm studying justice and law, and I would love to be a lawyer, but if this takes off, we'll see how good this goes. Okay. But I love to talk about sex, and I love to talk about hygiene, sexual taboos, and this channel is about breaking those barriers, breaking those taboos, and talking about what is not always talked about. So, shall we proceed? Look, I have notes because I'm not one of those fancy YouTubers that memorizes everything, so bear with me. Moving on. Welcome to Love Your Woohoo. It's basically a young girl's guide. It's basically a young girl's guide to vaginal health. As a college student, it took me a lot of experiences and a lot of time to really learn my vagina. And vagina is personal to you, and you should know it in and out. That's what she said. But yeah, you should know it. You should really know what's going on in your body when something is good and something is bad, and I'm here to help you, bitch. So you're welcome. Okay, moving on. Let us just explain what the vagina is, shall we? Because even though we have it, doesn't necessarily mean that we know all about it. So, say it with me now. Vagina. Vagina. That's a little taste in your mouth, I know. But that's what it's called, people. A vagina is essentially an elastic, lubricated canal that connects the uterus to its outside environment. That's fucking crazy. Like, the body, heard you body, is amazing. Like, we have an internal organ, an internal system of canals and tubes that connects us to our outside environment. I think that's amazing, guys. This is why I'm doing this channel. Not just for vaginas. Okay. The vagina is useful in so many ways. For menstruation, for childbirth, why we're all here, people, and sex. Of course. But one thing that we have to realize is that the vagina is not for waste or urine. And that is one thing that I did not know. Like, I'm so dead ass, bro. Like, when I thought about my vagina, I really thought that it was just like an area where everything just came out and came in. I need to remember. That's what she said. But just as the body is, it's just so complicated. There's just so many different things for different purposes, and that is not one of them. Moving on. Every vagina is different, people. Every vagina is different. And that means that every vagina responds differently to its environment, to what you put in and near it. So these are my top 10 pieces of advice that I have learned over the years, that I have learned from gynecologists, doctors, and professionals of that alike. And I'm gonna share that with you. You're lucky, bitch. Alright, let's go. So, number 1. Avoid douching. Yeah, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, girl. Douching involves washing out the vagina with a liquid saline solution. But the vagina is already a self-cleaning organ. It already has the capacity to clean itself. But I'm not saying don't bathe and all that shit. I'm not saying that. Be clean. You do not have to be this complicated with your vaginal routine. Douching can actually induce more bacteria to come into your vagina. It can mess with your pH balance, which can cause certain infections to occur. So honestly, bathe, soap water, unscented soap, and leave that hell alone. Leave it alone. I bet. As I was saying before. Number 2, please try to use non-scented soaps and perfumes. I cannot stress this enough. Yeah, those companies, they like to have perfumes where they're like, oh, feel like you're on the beach with Alejandro. Have your vagina smelling like flowers and candy and cinnamon and all that weird. Honestly, look, you don't need all that. And if your man's or if your girl's telling you that they prefer you with your vagina smelling like cotton candy or cinnamon, maybe it's time to consider moving on. What do you think it takes to make them smell so good? Perfumes, chemicals, and that's what you're putting in and near your vagina. And honestly, messing with that pH balance is not gonna do you good, honey. Trust. Alright? This is just my own personal advice. Try to avoid using feminine washes and wipes. I just personally had a bad experience with it. I'm not telling you not to use it, but I'm just saying that you should be aware of an excessive use of them, like using them like every day, multiple times a day type shit, can really also affect your pH balance. It really can put it out of whack. The vagina is very strong, but it's and very resilient, but it is also very sensitive. So you really just have to be simple and watch what you put in and near it. Okay. I'm looking at you, Summer's Eve. Anyway, yeah. So, regularly change your pads and tampons. I should not necessarily have to tell you this during menstruation. I should not necessarily have to tell you this, but some people forget. Even I forget sometimes. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I wear pads, and sometimes during the day, you're busy, you have a lot of stuff that you're doing, and that can be neglected sometimes. Like, let's not front here. But according to gynecologists, tampons should be changed every 4 to 8 hours. And pads, whenever you're really feeling uncomfortable, a bit more wet down there, a bit, you know, maybe you sense an odor, that's when you should change your pad. Garbage. Alright, I'm a joke. I'm a whole joke. I shouldn't have to tell you this, ladies, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Please avoid sharp objects in and near your vagina. Look, I'm not gonna yuck your yum. Some people may like certain things. I'm not talking about that. Alright, internet? I'm not talking about that. I'm only concerned about your health. I care about your safety. Alright, moving on. So guys, we're gonna talk about general hygiene. Bathe, okay? So moving on, no, I'm still on this. Bathe, I think that you should, personally, you should really avoid wearing anything but cotton underwear. Cotton underwear is a lifesaver for your vagina. It really helps it breathe. It really reduces the risk of any other bacterias. Honestly, when you're going to sleep, I've started sleeping without underwear, and it's very liberating. I'm not even gonna lie, like, it feels so good just to get underneath those covers and just have that woohoo, be out and open, breathing, you know what I mean? But if you're not comfortable with that, I definitely recommend 100% cotton underwear, alright? Or at least have underwear with a cotton lining. Most underwear do, but check that, alright? Try to avoid liners, and this is actually something that I just learned from my gynecologist. She said that unless you have excessive discharge, and that's like that white egg yolky substance that exudes from our body, so don't act like it doesn't happen to you, okay? But you may think that a liner may be a healthier choice for you, for discharge or spotting or anything like that, honestly, you should just not wear a liner, because if you think about it, the liner does not absorb the discharge like this cotton would. And so that discharge is just sitting there, and it's just rubbing on your vagina during your daily goings-ons, you know what I mean? So that could be potentially dangerous, you know? So honestly, it may be uncomfortable for some of you, but if it's not, I do recommend that you try not wearing liners on your daily basis, unless you can't help that. This is just a little subjective guideline for noticing any abnormalities in your vagina. This has definitely helped me a lot of times when I was trying to determine whether or not something that I noticed was normal or not. So yeah, I go by look, feel, and smell, right? Alright, so look, this is all subjective, but if you notice any type of abnormal blemishes or bumps or anything of the sort near or in or around your vagina, you should definitely make note of that. Alright. Feel. If it's itchy, if it's inflamed, if it's anything that's abnormal than your normal feel, which should really be nothing, technically, unless you're not feeling some type of way. Anyway, honestly, you know how many times I just went because I was like, look, doc, on God, like, this kind of feels abnormal, and I just need you to take a look at her. Her name's Angela. I named her Angela. Yeah. We're close. We're close, you know. Now we're moving on to smell. This is obviously subjective. Any type of abnormal odor, fishy odor as people like to call it, whatever, or abnormal discharge, any type of odor from that discharge, if you can smell it without really even having to try, that is definitely something that you should make note of. Smell, according to a gynecologist that I spoke with, are one of the key indicators of any type of infections, viruses, diseases that may go on in your vagina. And if that is the case, make note of that, get that fixed. Right? So we're moving on to grooming. I'm really going to talk about like 3 major grooming techniques that women... People in my dorm are loud as fuck. Anyway, 3 major techniques that people usually tend to use when they groom. That is waxing, shaving, and hair removal cream. So, waxing, there you can have a normal wax, you can have a sensitive wax, which I did not even know about, obviously. And you can have a chocolate wax, and everybody loves a little chocolate. There's so many other waxes that you can try if you don't necessarily want to do the regular motion. Shaving, which is something that I personally use, but I'm gonna stop. I'll tell you why. I recommend, though, if you do want to continue shaving, using the male razors. It just adds a closer shave, really, and it's easier to use personally, but just be careful because the razors are a bit more harsh and you don't want to cut yourself. That can lead to infections. It's just not fun. It's not fun at all. And then you have hair removal creams such as Nair and different types of things like that. But my number one thing, and I have used these before, and I definitely recommend them. But please don't keep the cream on for longer than specified on the label. Alright, if it says 5 minutes, bitch, leave that shit on for 5 minutes. If you leave that shit on for longer, you can cause irritation, burning. How do you think they get that hair off, girl? Burning. And a rash. Just so many bad things. So, last but not least, we're going to talk about self-love. Yes, self-love. In all aspects of the phrase. First and foremost, safe sex, people. Safe sex.
Wow.
Don't mind that.
Really, girl? Really?
Something like that. But yeah, safe sex people. That means peeing after sex. I cannot stress this enough. And not many females really knew about this. Peeing after sex can really avoid getting any type of infections. It actually lowers the risk of STDs, which I did not know.
Yes, you did.
And it lowers the risk of getting a UTI, which is a urinary tract infection, which is very painful and not fun and very hard to get rid of. Haven't had one, but I don't want to have one. Even if you have used a condom or did not, pee anyway. Using lube, I can't stress this enough. Whatever you gotta do to get that wet, if it's not wet enough, please do it. Because if you don't, and if you go in there and it's too dry, you can cause abrasions. You can cause infections. You get where I'm going here? So try to make sure the area is wet, no matter how you're gonna do it. But I recommend lube. It's very safe. And there are many different types of lube out there. Yeah. If you want, I could do a whole video on sex, which I just might. So boom. Anyway, and so we're gonna talk briefly about masturbation. There's nothing wrong with masturbation at all. You could use dildos, you could use your hands, you could use vibrators. Self-love is very important. Love yourself, love your vagina. Loving your vagina is really loving yourself, because it's really taking care of those aspects of your life that no one else but you can take care of. You know what I mean? And so really take pride in it and do your best to really get to know you. I feel like on that note, I'm gonna end this video. I really appreciate you watching. If you made it to the end, congratulations, you won nothing, but you did gain knowledge. Once again, I really just want to thank you for looking at this video. I had so much fun making it. Make sure to like and subscribe, share this video, leave some comments, anything that I can do differently.
I'm gonna shut up now.
Let me know if you want more personality, because I'm really toning it down. And see you next time. On the flip side, don't forget to be independently you.
Well, thank you so much to everyone that listened. I really enjoyed making this video, and let me know if I should make more of them. Love ya. Bye.